Hello everyone, welcome to another video here. Sorry about the late start, had a couple hiccups there with the software, but I'll start out today by doing a little improvisation on Prelude to a Kiss. So check our tuning here real quick and then get started with all that. So I'm working on some new backing tracks just to kind of keep it interesting, but for now, kind of using the same thing for now. So all right, so this is Prelude to a Kiss, and do some improv over it, and kind of thinking in general about Pentatonics. All right, well, let's get started here. All right, so let's dial in a good ballad kind of tempo for us. All right. So it started out there. The first chorus, pretty much exclusively worked with pentatonic scales there, and then kind of stretched out a little bit. But even if you don't exclusively play those scales, you might end up maybe using them in a way to just almost kind of create a framework, for maybe thinking in terms of things that might work or fit a certain sound. So if the chord is on a certain sound, then you can say, well, okay, I'll kind of think of this in terms of this pentatonic scale, but maybe I'll fill in some of the spaces in between, some of those scale notes and things. All right. So as I'm getting my kind of computer all back up and running here and getting all the audio fixed, which hopefully today's going okay in that respect, brought back the kind of virtual guitar neck here, so that can kind of assist us. So speaking of which, this is available as a podcast and also available to YouTube members in the form of a video. So I live stream this series pretty much 5 days a week. And then I also have some other kind of short videos that I upload that I'm working in. But this is kind of the afternoon, early afternoon kind of talks. So so it's streaming live for kind of the purpose of taking any questions and just kind of spending some time with the members as well. So so let's talk a little bit about pentatonics and how they can be useful in the sense of outlining chord changes and playing through changes. So let's say we have this first chord in this song, Duke Ellington tune called Prelude to a Kiss. So we have this D9, right? And the melody notes kind of do suggest some additional information there, additional tones. But let's start out with something called the dominant pentatonic. Okay. All right. And a couple ways to think about that or arrive at it. You could also think about it in terms of like a D7 arpeggio with a 9. So if you had if you kind of went every other note even on D mixolydian, then you would arrive at that 9. Kind of compress it all, stack it all together, and okay, we get that. Okay, so root 9, 3, 5, flat 7, and that's the dominant pentatonic, which is really useful pentatonic scale. You might also think about it in terms of a minor 6 pentatonic, like A minor 6 pentatonic. But that can be really useful for us on these dominant 7th chords, G7 or G9, right? C7. Okay, it's the dominant pentatonic. Okay, so as for right now, we're talking about things that can be very close to the chord itself. So we'll talk at kind of starting points. Maybe we'll talk about a couple of options and things, but we'll go through this tune a little bit. Change some settings here. Not sure what happened. I reset something because this was sort of my technical issue. So hopefully everything holds together here. So I make these changes that YouTube is asking me to make. Okay, so hopefully that's all going okay there. Okay, so let's talk about some other things. So F major 7. So similar to the dominant pentatonic approach that we had over there with the dominant chord, well, we could think of maybe in terms of more of like a 6/9 sort of sound, get sort of this fairly neutral, open, just major pentatonic on the C major. So it doesn't have the B in it. That's fine. Okay. But we could do other things. We could play E minor pentatonic. That does get the B in there. So many things that we could do on that in that respect. Let's check out some other things. So let's say we have a D minor. Maybe we have D minor a little bit later. Maybe we'll work backwards a little bit to that A7. Okay, so there, minor pentatonic. Okay, that would be a good spot to work from there. Now, what if we want, let's say on A7, maybe we think, okay, well, we're going to minor. It's kind of nice to have a flat 9 sound going to minor. So what do we do about that? Well, if we have, let's just start with the dominant pentatonic, move from there. Okay, we can keep everything and maybe take this B and lower it by a half step. Okay, so. Okay. All right, and then that can help us with all that. So we have. And the next challenge is kind of coming up with lines that were through them. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. But maybe I'll go through and very slowly just kind of utilize some of those things that we just did. And hopefully it'll be fairly transparent to hear it, and if you're watching the video, to see it. All right, so we'll go through maybe a little slower. Play through here. Okay, I've been working on this fade in. This is something I've been really wanting to do for a long time. And I've kind of happened upon a tool to do it with. So that's kind of cool, but I gotta fine tune a little bit. Also, it would be really nice if I could operate it without using the mouse or something. But so anyhow, came across another few circumstances there where we might need to do a little additional work on the pentatonic type scales. So, all right, we talked about the dominant pentatonic. Let's say like a G7 with a flat 9. So we could make a change to the dominant pentatonic, so alter that 9, lower it a half step. So let's talk about the minor 7 flat 5. So there's an F sharp minor 7 flat 5 that comes up. Okay, so we have these tones here. So let's compare it to something that might be more familiar. So we have F sharp minor pentatonic. And just like what we did earlier with the dominant pentatonic with a flat 9, we'll take the 5 and we'll lower it. So okay, and then that will fit really nice. That's a good go-to sound on that particular chord. How about the G? There's a G diminished in there in the bridge. So maybe we'll talk about that one a little bit. You can relate these diminished type, fully diminished 7s to dominant 7s and use that as kind of the source there. So let's say F sharp dominant. So you could use that dominant pentatonic with a flat 9 and F sharp. You could use the E flat. Okay, and you can do anything that's a third away. So. Okay, it's very interesting kind of thing about that. The diminished 7 and some of the symmetries there. So in that example, an F sharp dominant pentatonic with a flat 9, and E flat dominant pentatonic with a flat 9, C dominant pentatonic with a flat 9, and A dominant pentatonic with a flat 9. So with that particular G diminished sound going on there. So that's a kind of a solution for that. And that also, might be an approach they take on that G sharp diminished in the A sections there. All right, let's go through a little this tune a little bit again, and let's speed it up a little bit. And so we'll keep it still kind of slow because it is a ballad. But what I want to do is kind of point out the concept of connecting your lines. So this is part of the practice idea, for improv here, is to take the pentatonic scale, and let's say you might work with a backing track. You might record yourself, or iReal Pro, or Band in a Box, or something like that, and then find ways to connect the lines. So let's say we're on D9, and let's say we play 2 notes. So then you're going to G7. So you might say So that'd be like D7 to G. Okay, so let's see if you could find the closest note. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's a good way to practice kind of connecting the lines here. Let's see if I can adjust my little fading tool. It's working out really well. Maybe make a longer fade. See how that goes. All right, so anyway, I'll play at a little bit slightly quicker tempo here, just to give us the sense of kind of forcing us into making that happen. I'm going to adjust away from the for those watching the video. I'm just going to adjust away from that guitar neck thing because it's I'm going to do some slurs and things, and it's just not going to pick that up. All right, so let's go back and play along with this one a little bit. All right, so that gives us a little idea on how that all might work. So just that's kind of it's part of the, you might say, artistry of playing. Lines, right? It's to kind of get that. I haven't quite figured out what this button's doing here, but it's blinking at me. All right, anyway. So yeah, just kind of moving from one chord to the next, and just kind of doing that. So that's a really great tune, maybe to check that out. I'm thinking I might add one more song to our regular list here. I haven't picked one, but if anybody out there has any interest in anything, and even on the podcast, let me know, and we could see if we could work that in. All right, so let's do a little maybe explanation on that. So again, dominant pentatonic, say D7. Okay, then you're thinking G7. Okay, and then C7, and then F, right? So there's, kind of a line put together. Let's say B7, E7, A7, D minor. Okay. So that's something you could do is, maybe pick two notes and work with that and see how that kind of progresses. All right, maybe we'll apply this to Falling Grace, with which we've been working on a little bit. So I'll play a little bit on that. I'll try my fade out. I'm going to do the fade out a little bit longer. Again. Yeah, let's play a little bit on Falling Grace and kind of thinking about these pentatonic scales and connecting our lines and things. Okay, I'll have to work on how to grab that fade button. It's always kind of buried behind something or doing something. Um, all right. I don't know if that's ultimately a solution, but it's the only thing that I found that really kind of works. I'd also like to work on bringing in and out the keyboards a little bit more gracefully, but anyway, kind of work in progress. But thanks for checking out this podcast. Thanks for checking out this live stream, and thanks for supporting the channel and all that. All right, everybody. I'll see you all in the next one.